Central Soil Salinity Research Institute. Now in 2015, he joined this institute. He's a PG faculty in the discipline of agriculture extension at IRI also, and he's also involved in teaching and guiding students there. So he's a very committed and sincere researcher. He himself has organized many training programs, big training programs, 21 days offline as well as online. So, and published books also, as well as he has written many national and international journal papers. Some of them are of very good NAS rating. So, this topic of farmer producer organization, as you know, like it is quite relevant today. So that's why we thought of having some awareness about this to the participants of this training. With this, I will like to invite Dr. Vinayak Nikam for his lecture. This lecture is up till 3:30. At 3:30, we have another lecture. So, Dr. Vinayak Nikam.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for this nice introduction. Good afternoon, all. Today, I will talk about farmer producers organization, current situation, and policy perspective. I know you people are more interested in quantitative techniques, though this is more theoretical oriented, but we'll try to give some research flavor at the end. What the topic, what the important areas in farmer research areas in farmer producers organization, and what techniques and methods has been used by some researchers, and what we can do, what research we can do under this topic also. That also will be discussing at the end of these lectures. Ma'am, should I proceed?
Yes, you please proceed.
I will share my screen. Hope it is visible to you all.
Yes, it is visible. Just put it in slideshow.
Is it okay now?
Yes, it is okay.
Okay. Why we need such innovative institutions like farmer producers organization? We all know that agriculture employs about 40% of labor force, and about 70% of population, our rural population, is dependent on agriculture. And if you see the composition of different farms, then 86% of these farms, the farm holdings, they are small and marginal holdings. And this per hectare or average land holding is declining day by day. It is declining day by day. And this, if you see this small and marginal farmers or resource poor farmer, they take input at global prices. Means those whatever input, the seeds, fertilizers, pesticide, they're purchasing it from these multinational companies, global companies. And when they sell their product in the market, in domestic market, then they throw away. They give that price, they give that their product at throwaway prices. Means that there is huge gap between how they are paying for this input and what they are getting for their output. And more important, we need to compress this values chain and supply chain. It's a very large number of intermediaries are there. And also in terms of extension, public extension has certain limitations, like limited staff, and private extension, they have their own interest, like they will more focus on these commercial crops and particular sections of the farmers. That's why we need certain models of extension where that will be more inclusive, that will be more farmers oriented. If you see the status of small and marginal farmers in India, they contribute about 44, they have about 44% of cultivable land area, and their contribution from this 44% of land area is that they are producing 70% of our country's vegetable and almost 70% of milk production in our country. And on positive sides, many studies have identified that their productivity or yield is higher than the large farmers also. Their multiple crop index is high, and the irrigation irrigated area with them also is high as compared to other farmers. That was the positive side. But if you see this negative side also, though their productivity is high, but researchers question that productivity in long term, viability of these farms in long term, because for this year, if they are taking loan for this production and meeting out their expenses, and when they go to market, they realize very less price and they are not able to pay that loan, then again that loan amount will be accumulated in next year. They will be taking loan next year also. In this way, the researchers has found that there will be continuous indebtedness and poverty. Okay, and moreover, because of their small holding, they have certain problems, that economy of scale. Whether they have 1 quintal or 2 quintal, they have to give same amount of transport vehicle as that of 20 quintal. Means there is no economy of scale. They don't have bargaining power. There are limited resources also that restrict their capital investment in agriculture. These market assets and other linkages are limited with this population. And owing to all these factors, if you see there, this section, the small and marginal farmers, they are low on social and development indicators as compared to mainstream or other farmers, even as compared to urban counterparts. Therefore, we need certain models or institutions where we can bring them together and help them to gain more prices, secure more income, and improve their livelihood. Before starting this farmer producers organization, I would give some 2-3 case studies. These case studies I mostly taken from Maharashtra because I have studied there, and these case studies represent organizations formed under different acts. That act again we will see in the next slides. First case study is the Mahagrapes. Right now, I will make it clear that right now this Mahagrapes is not functional, but still I am giving it as a case study because this was started in the year of 1991. That was the era when the small and marginal farmer even could not dream to export their produce to other country, particularly European country. That time this organization had started, and this Mahagrapes become partner with this cooperative, farmer cooperative at block level, even at below the block level also. They established their pre-cooling, cooling, cold storage units. Okay, and all the facility required for this gap certification and other formality were provided to these members. And when compared to price of these members received in this domestic market and international market, then many studies including International Food Policy Organization and other, they have found that yes, these Mahagrapes has given more price to their members. It was the era just we had started this LPG model, liberalization, privatization and globalization, LPG model. And that time this was the initiative was formed. That's why, and this was the, we can say, this torch bearer for other FPOs. It has shown the other FPOs in other states also that yes, if farmers can come together by certain mechanism, by forming certain groups or certain institutions, like different institutions, then they can overcome the certain barriers related to this marketing. Okay. A similar example of Mahagrapes is like it is in Odisha state, that its name is Kasam, that is Kandhamal Apex Spice Association for marketing. It was started by the government only, and it's headed by the district collector. In 1998, it was started, and now it is having more than 13,000 members. Its partner. Basically, it deals with this Kandhamal Haldi, but other product also they are dealing with. It has become marketing partner to 61 spice development societies. It has a similar structure like that of Mahagrapes, but it is also working in tribal area. That's the beauty of this. Next, farmer producers organization I'm talking is about this Sahyadri Farms, again from Nasik district of Maharashtra. And 2020 there was news in Indian Express, the Financial Express, that next Amul in making. That heating itself suggests that how fast its turnover and other activity of this FPO. They have
तुम अपने प्लेयर को भेज देते, कम से कम वो फील्डिंग तो कर लेता।
डॉक्टर प्रदीप आप
आराम से लेके आ, फेंकियो मत, फेंक मत।
नेक्स्ट अमूल इन मेकिंग इज जब अमूल जो बिग कोऑपरेटिव और बिग सक्सेस एग्जांपल है हमारे पास कोऑपरेटिव के लिए, लाइक दैट वन FPO is going to be is in on that line. One FPO is there, that is the Sahyadri Farms, because it has more than 8,000 farmers attached to it as members. This figure I'm showing, it's quite world one, but current data it shows that more than 20% exported grapes, more than 20% of grapes export contribution is coming from this single FPO in India. If you see their competitors like Mahindra and all these private, but still this FPO is exporting about 20% of India's grapes. You just can imagine how this big area of operation they might be having. And then if you see their turnover, it's more than 250 crore also. And if you see their employee, they are around 200 to 250 employee permanently, they are working there. And during peak season, like suppose grape harvesting season is there, during that time they will employ about 4,000 laborers for this grading, packaging, sorting, grading, packaging, all these activity. And if the beauty of this is that whatever products available in that area, even nearby districts also, they are collecting from nearby districts also. They will try to sell as per the demand. If demand is more, the product can be sold as such, but they will also do value addition of all types. Suppose mango is there, mango juice, pulp, pickles, whatever possible value addition is possible, on that they are doing. Even not only mango, but even other vegetables like bitter gourd and other whatever possible this value addition they are doing. And they have their own retail shop also in Nasik and Mumbai, they are doing. And moreover, this FPO, they are doing research also. They have introduced 2 varieties of grapes that are mostly preferred by this European Union. Okay, it's as per the demand they are doing research. And last year one article was there in newspaper, I don't know its validity, but certainly that article was there, and it was showing that this organization has developed one variety which can bear fruits twice in a year. Right now, if we see this grape cultivation, only once in a year that production will be there, but by cultivating this variety, the farmers can grow their or cultivate their grapes twice in a year. Next example again is from this Pune district of Maharashtra, that is Abhinav Farmers Club. This was a farmers club formed by this NABARD. This is also one unique case study, because this has shown how the small and marginal farmers with small of land and limited resources, how they can earn more than 70,000 per month. What they have done, they have connected these farmers directly to the consumers through the online platform. They have made some mobile app, and that mobile app, this demand from the consumer mostly these societies, residential societies in Pune, they are their consumers, and that residential society will put their demand on that app, and as per that demand they will harvest that product also. Similarly, they will sow that crop also in staggered manner, so that at once that's harvesting will not be there. Okay, and they follow this integrated farming system model. And if suppose farmer is having one cow, that cow will be in one shed, where in that same shade only that through hydroponics that fodder will be grown. That hydroponic system they have made, it's all automatic. no need to go and water that also, that as per the demand, when this water level goes down, that automatically that irrigation will, that water will come to that hydroponic pot. Like that system they have made, and with limited resources, limited cost, they are giving more income to their members. This was again most successful case study during Corona time also, when the other transport facility was not there. Then this NGO, this FPO came forward and they provided these fruits, vegetables to the Pune residential, and through direct marketing they could earn more, and they provided income during Corona time also to their farmers. If we see this, now we'll see the theoretical aspect of these FPOs. NABARD defined this farmer producer organization as one type of producers organization where the members are farmers. Producers organization can be anything, any producer, like they can be farmers, the fishermen, weavers, and artisans also. Okay, any producers organization where the members are farmers, this NABARD considered their farmer producers organization. This farmer producers organization is, we can say, is umbrella term now used by government or government of India. It consists of farmers. It can be farmers group, farmers association, farmers society, farmers trust, farmers companies, farmer producers company, and cooperative also. All these, for all these, we generally called as farmer producers organization, FPOs. Okay, and its importance is highlighted by many international organizations also. If you see the present situation of farmer producers organization in India, government has set a target to form 10,000 new farmer producers organization. Okay, and certain amount they also has allocated through budget for this scheme. Right now, that 7,000 farmer producers organization, this data is given by Neti et al. But some studies they have said, they claim that there are more than 9,000 farmer producers organization are currently working in India. And if you see the situations of these farmer producers organizations, around 30% of them, they are operating viably, and 20% they are struggling to survive, and this remaining 50% are still they planning equity collection, mobilization page only. Means we can say that roughly about 30% of these farmers producers organization, they are operating viably, they are successful, other still are struggling, we can say. This was also highlighted by this SFSC study also. If you see these registrations of FPO, if anyone want to form this FPOs, then how they can do this? These FPOs, farmer producers organization, can be formed under different acts. Okay, and based on that, there is typology for this. Cooperative society, producers company. This is the major chunk of producers company producers organization belongs to this cooperative society and producer company. We'll see it in detail, but remaining three, this non-profit society, trust, and Section 8 companies. These are the 5 ways we can form farmer producers organization. This Section 8 company is formed under this Indian Company Act only, but it is considered as non-profit organization. Is whatever profit these company get, they cannot give it back to their member. They have to utilize it again for the whatever purpose it has. For that purpose, that company is made. Okay, they cannot give this dividend and profit. They cannot share their profit among the members. Section 8 company. That is the major difference from this producers company. The producers company, they can share their profit among the member, but Section 8 company, it is non-profitable. Though both are formed under one act in this Indian Company Act only. Then next one is trust, farmers trust. We say that, and it is formed under Indian Trust Act. Okay, this non-profit society, they are formed under Society Registration Act. One example, we saw this Mahagrapes and even this Kasam. These organizations are formed under the Society Registration Act. though these members, they are marketing partner to other society, cooperative society, they are formed under different Cooperative Societies Act. If you see the distribution of this overall FPOs, most of them are farmer producers companies, because this is becoming more popular since 2003. This YK Alert committee that had recommended, and government of India also had adopted that recommendation, and since 2003 we make certain corrections into the Indian Companies Act, and we had started this scheme of farmer producers company. And it is, we can see that about 70% of this organization registered with NABARD, they were farmer producers company. It's quite popular among the farmers also as compared to other forms. What are the features of cooperative? This cooperative, we want to form this farmer producers organization as a cooperative or under Cooperative Act, then it can be registered under Cooperative Society Act of individual states, or Autonomous Cooperative Society Act existing in many states, or central any State Cooperative Society Act of the center government. More than 10 persons can come together. Those who are above 18 age, they can come together and they can form this cooperative. If this cooperative are involved in certain financial business, then there need to be some similarity, either they from same town or same caste, same group, same class, same occupation, like that. Okay. And management, like there will be chairman, there will be secretary, treasurers. Most of us know what about this cooperative. Then what about this farmer producers company? This farmer producers company, they are registered under Company Act 1957, Part 9th A. Okay, and who can be the members? There is as per this 581C member section of this act, any more than 10 individuals, they can come together and they can form this company. Even if there are more than 2 farmer producers groups, small groups like joint liability group, SHG self-help group, or farmers interest group, more than 2 such groups, they can come together and they can form this farmer producers company, or combination of these 2 farmers groups or individuals, they can come together and they can form this. There should be minimum 5 directors, maximum can be 15, and minimum paid up capital 1 lakh. And area operation of this is not limited, all over India they can operate. These are the basic features government had introduced in this farmer producers company. If you want to start any farmer producers company, what can be the steps in that? Broadly, this whole process of this formation of farmer producers company can be broadly categorized into three parts. First, it's the iterative process where we are taking the consent of these members. It's basically we have to identify the clusters. Government of India already has identified the clusters as per this one district, one product. From one district is considered as cluster for that area. Suppose Nasik district is there, grapes is the major crop in that district, then government will declare as cluster for the grapes. Okay, right way you have to, when we are starting this process for this FPC, then we have to identify the cluster in our district, in that particular district, and based on that we can make some business plans. Okay, we will carry out this baseline and feasibility survey. We'll make some business plan. We'll organize meeting with villagers, and some exposure visit, means where some successful FPOs are working are there. We can take farmers from this area to that FPO to show them how they are working effectively, to show them the benefits of. Okay, then once we have done this, we can identify some leaders of that potential directors from that area, and again we can make this canvas for this producers organization through these major leaders or directors. And if during this process we become sure that yes, these producers need FPC, farmer producers company, then we'll be going to the next stage, where we have to prepare certain documents. Here we'll be also collecting the share capital and saving from the members. We'll be identify the promoter director, and we'll revisit the business plan. Earlier that preliminary business plan we had made, that again will be modified. Okay, and two important documents related to these farmer producers companies are there: article of association and memorandum of association. Article of association is just like in our constitution, different articles there, and they talk about the rules and regulation, how this government or this our country will be functioning. Like that, this article of association of this farmer producers company is about the rules and regulation of this FPC, how they are going to function, what rules they are going to follow. Then memorandum of association, it gives overall idea, that's objectives of this, then kind of members, then kind of activities, marketing, and all aspect, detailed aspect will be covered under this memorandum of association. Then from this director, there will be digital signature certificates also from director we have to obtain, and we have to appoint one consultant. Once this we have completed, then that consultant will do the other job, that you'll affidavit of this subscriber to memorandum MOA for signing in Hindi also. Then directors appointment, once we have identified these directors, we have to register themselves on through this Ministry of Corporate Affairs, and through that process we'll get their DIN, directors in identification number, DIN, and we can also search for the names, and based on the availability of names we can choose the name for our company. This is the broad steps information of this farmer producers company, and minimum 40,000 to 65,000 expenditure is there during this process, and this has to be bear by the farmers only. There are certain challenges for this farmer producers company, and big challenge as most of they talk about is about capital infusion. Means as these organizations are not listed, they cannot list on this share market also. Like other companies, they cannot get this capital from that share market. Professionalism is the again a big problem. Though earlier cooperative we tried to improve by taking many aspects of these companies or corporate and incorporating into this farmer producers organization, but still this professionalism is lacking. This group dynamics, different religion, caste, politics, all things are there. This is difficult to manage at village level. Capacity building also, that though we are forming these FPOs, but these directors or directors don't know about this technical aspect also, and most of they also don't know about this procedural aspect also. In that aspect, this capacity building aspect is lacking. Access to finance, yes, earlier it was a big problem, but now government has created certain funds. If that FPO is not able to repay the loan taken from the bank, the government will, from that fund, the government will give that amount to the bank. Means that right now that bank, since 2 years, that bank has got assurance that yes, if this FPO is not giving, at least government can repay that loan to us. Means that access to finance. Then this taxes is also is big concern for this FPC. Though 2018 budget, government of India, they had given concession that those about 100 crore turnover, they will not get any tax, but after that this FPO they have to give taxes, and that 100 crore also they have given this time limit, that is the 5 years. Okay, that's why these taxes, because this as which is company, they have to pay same tax as that of the other companies, other corporates. That is the bigger challenges. These are some non-profit organizations. what can the activities of these FPOs? Procurement of input. One a very famous example I will share with you, that Sai Provara Pharma Producers Company from Ahmednagar district of Maharashtra. What they doing? They have their own input shop where they will purchase that all inputs directly from the company. Is whatever the middleman, this agent and marketing persons are there, their margin is reduced, and as they are directly purchasing from the company that in bulk quantity, they have some bargaining power also. Means when I interacted with them, they said that about they are providing inputs to the member about 25 to 30% less than the market price. You can imagine if they are getting input at 25 to 30% less, means their cost of cultivation will be less and they'll have more benefit cost ratio also. Okay, and other many activities, this particularly this FPO, they are focusing on creating their own brand for this marketing purpose. This Sayadri Farms and many FPOs we have seen even in this we have seen this Sonipat district also. They are forming their own brands. They are creating their own identity also. Okay. These are the from producer side, even market side, and from policy environment. Certain aspect we need to see while promotion of this farmer producers organization. From producer side, there's their economy of scale, type of product, willingness to adopt new technology, incentive to join this FPO. These things we need to consider. From market side also, if you are promoting certain products from one district, then that supply will be more. Whether do we have a capacity, or the market has the capacity to absorb that supply, and if there is glut in market, then what alternate operation, post harvest operation or other we can plan. That all these things we need to consider, and of course policy environment nowadays is more favorable. Okay, what can be the optimum size or optimum area for this farmer producers organization? There was a conclave in 2015 by the NABARD. They discussed different things, many persons, and they have given certain optimum size, optimum numbers, management cost, and other things for this farmer producers organization. And as per them, that this land area under this FPO means all this members' land should be more than 4,000 hectares. Okay, and that land should be, they said that it should be a contiguous microstate to address the issue related to sustainability. Okay, and or maybe they are in continuous the 2 to 3 villages in nearby area they can be, so that that sustainability will be there. Members, they say that there should be minimum 7,000 and maximum they can 7,000 to 1,000 members. So they will be preferable, manageable, and again sustainable. Management cost, that managing this farmer producers organization around 2 lakhs per month. That's 24 lakh per annum. That cost should be there, and their volume of output means minimum their net turnover of this FPO should be 2.5 crore to remain them sustainable, because this if they are incurring cost also. If they are not getting that turnover, then this cost will be more, and they ultimately they will suffer the loss. And marketing, they suggested that nearby in 200 kilometers they can do their marketing activity. Of course, it's not applicable for this export-oriented FPOs, this marketing aspect. This was the optimum size. But again, we'll see now these new guidelines of farmer producers organization given by Government of India. There they are, though their optimum size is 700 to 1,000, but the government is promoting this FPO with a minimum 300. Why that is? Because there was some representation from farmers organization that mobilizing such a huge number of farmers, 7,000 to 700 to 1,000, is very difficult, because their diversity of this religion, caste, and other things are involved there. Therefore, this size, this FPO size, numbers should be considered at lowest. That's why the next slides will be seeing the new guidelines and what are the guidelines the government now set out. There are certain promoting institutions. Who can be the promoting institutions? Any NGO, any bank branch or government department or cooperative society or any association or federation. They can become these promoting institutions. But for these promoting institutions, they need to be a legal entity because they have to enter into contract, legally valid contract with other institutions. That's why they also need to be legal entities, and they are getting certain funds to meet out their expenses from this NABARD and SFPC. Now NCDC also will be doing that work. We'll be seeing these new guidelines for promotion of this farmer producers organization. Already I talked about this one district, one product. That cluster we have to identify. Already government have identified on the list of all the states. They have given that list of clusters to the central government. Minimum size here government is saying that 300 in plain area and 100 in hilly areas. And again, in that also they have put condition that 50% needs to be marginal farmers, women farmers, under that 300 members. And strategy, they are saying that first farmers are encouraged to form this FIG, joint liability group, self-help group, farmers interest group. And from this 15 to 20 certain such groups, they can form one farm producers organization, big either cooperative or these farm producers company. And government says that efforts are being made to form 2 farmer producers, at least under this scheme, 2 FPOs at each block. Those potential blocks of 5,000 agriculture blocks, we can say, per block 2 FPOs. Government has set the target. If this structure, how they can be there, they want this FPO to be federating at district level, even state level, or even at national level also they can make federation. And if we see this many FPOs or many federations, particularly Maharashtra also, they are making this different FPOs, they are forming also, they are promoting and making them part of their federations also. Okay. IPC right now, we don't have exact or actual numbers of FPOs. That data is not available with government. NABARD, they have maintained the data of FPOs promoted by NABARD. Similarly, SFPC promoted by SFPC. But collectively, data of all FPOs we don't have. That's why that is the difficult. We have difficulty in getting the actual data. But government has set up this National Project Management Agency. That agency will manage all this data related to these FPOs, and also it will provide project guidance, data maintenance through integrated portal, and information management and monitoring. This SFPC will be looking after this National Project Management Agency. The NABARD, his role is to that promote FPOs through those FPO formed through both Cooperative Act as well as Company Act. This NABARD will be looking at them, and NCDC will looking only the FPOs that are formed under this Cooperative Act, and SFPC will look and promote FPOs those are incorporated under Companies Act. These 3 agencies, they are the nodal agencies at national level for promoting and this monitoring of this farmer producers organization. And these promoting agencies or these implementing agencies, they will set up cluster-based business organization at a state level or either at the cluster level. And these CBBOs, they will be the promoting institutions, and they will promote FPOs in that area, cluster-based. Okay. Government also has given some financial incentives to form this FPO. That financial support up to maximum of 18 lakh per FPO, or whatever actual cost is there, will be provided to this FPO during 3 years of their formation. And the government also will be providing this financial support to CEO, manager and accountant also, and put 5% increment in each year. Then equity grant, whatever is contributed by this member, Matching grant up to 2,000 will be per farmer member, will be provided by the government, and the ceiling of this is kept at 15 lakh, maximum 15 lakh grant also that FPO can get from that. And about this again, that I told that one fund government has initiated, so that if that FPO is not able to pay their loans, then banks can get that amount from this fund also. These are the some financial benefit provided or we can say offered to this farmer producers organization. If you review this farmer producers organization in India and worldwide also, then different impact or their functions of this farmer producers organization, we can say impact of this farmer producers organization. Many studies have found that right from their input supply, to price negotiation, to production, post harvesting, marketing, even environment aspect, employment aspect, even creating entrepreneurial culture among the villages. These are the many impact or many functions this farmer producers organization they are serving. Pardon me for 1 minute. Hello.
Yes, audible.
Yes, ma'am. There was battery problem. And these are the functions or impact of farmer producers organization. We can see if we see different types of farmer producers organization, there are many categories can be there, are there, but basically these the most we follow these based this classification of farmer producers organization based on nature of service provided, that is market oriented, input oriented, extension oriented, and policy and advocacy oriented. Okay, strength SWOT analysis of FPOs. If we see in Indian context also, we see that's the strength of this FPO is that there is resilience and determination of smallholders. There is committed leadership also. If we see these most of the successful FPOs, there you can find 1 or 2 persons. They are the good leaders. They are able to make linkages with others. They will visit different places, market linkage, extension linkage, research linkage, and all types of linkage. They'll make license with other person. That is those successful FPOs. They have good success or good leaders also. I can say. There are linkages among these FPOs also, and credibility with government as well as consumers also. When we are living in Delhi, when there is product from any FPO, we prefer that product rather than other multinational brand. Means some credibility of this product from the FPO is also there among the urban consumers. These are the strength of these FPOs. Weakness means they mostly related to literacy, poverty, then this politics, lack of professionalism, insufficient training, etc. Certain are the many weaknesses are there, of course, but of course there are the opportunity also. Means there are availability of multiple service providers. Okay, we have enabling policy environment. Government is supporting that. Procurement of major crops also. In Maharashtra, these federations of this FPO, they are helping government in procurement of onions, pigeon pea, different crops also. That in that also these three in procurement also these FPO are contributing. Okay, and of course there are certain threats like the environmental contextual problems are there, high taxes are there, political interference likely to happen on this. Okay, and certain trade aspect also, the trade barriers and other things. These are certain threats, but of course we have strength and we have opportunities that we can utilize, and other aspect we can reduce. Okay, this is the total framework how these FPO they can contribute to economic development. all these are the problems, constraints, that how we will overcome that constraint, then we'll get to certain benefits. But these at the top, if you see these 6 boxes, I would say these are more important for the success of this farmer producers organization in India. First one is supporting government policies. Yes, after since 2-3 years, we have given full support to these FPOs. The next one is fulfillment of members' expectations. Because anyone joining that FPO, there are certain expectations, and if that FPO is not able to fulfill that expectations, then this credibility will be low, and farmers will not prefer that. One example, that Sahyadri Farms, again I will quote here, its promoter, that its leader, Mr. Vilas Shinde, is an agri graduate from MPKV Rauri, agri engineer. Then when when he had started FPO during initial years, 1 year he had suffered loss, means when he sent that consignment to European unit or somewhere for export purpose, that time he suffered loss, and that he was in position not to repay to that amount, or not to give any price to that farmers. But during that time, he sold his personal properties and whatever asset, means some assets of his, and through that selling he could give the price or that amount to the members. And since that, he also himself tells that yes, now the credibility and trust among the members is high, and that is what important for the successful farmer producers organization. Next one is this group dynamic and leadership. I told that for every successful organization in farmers producers organization, and you look in India, there is one leader who can run here and there. You can make license and linkages with other organization, marketers and others. That's the need for this farmer producers organization, as it is non-political nature is there. As this farmer producers organization don't have very clear-cut rules and regulations. Okay, therefore non-political nature, ethics and professionalism, these are the things which can guide this farmer producers organization. And of course, linkage with other research extension and private organization is important. Capacity building, skill and training, that the government also is focusing. That's these 6 boxes highlighted above there are very important for the success and sustenance of farmer producers organization. We have five minutes left, I think. During beginning of lecture, I told that we will give some flavor what kind of research work is being carried out on this farmer producers organization. As this training is on more on quantitative aspect, these techniques. We'll also see what in India, particularly if we see the research carried out on this farmer producers organization broadly can be, I have categorized it into some. Firstly, they are researchers, they have studied the impact, then they have studied the performance of these FPOs, then what can be the optimum design, then factor affecting, case studies, scoping studies, and qualitative aspects. Under impact, how this farmer producers organization, they are impacting farmers in terms of technology adoption, increasing yield, okay, increasing income of farmers, increasing efficiency, particularly most studies are focusing on this technical efficiency, then reduction in transaction cost, this marketing aspect, and effectiveness in terms of livelihood improvement. These are certain broad areas of impact assessment, or we can say these outcome variables. These outcomes means impact aspect. There's researchers they have carried out in India, and methodology mostly this treatment effect model we can see in PSM, Ekman two-stage effect model. Then instrumental variable also some researchers they have used. For this Verma they have used this generalized linear model, and others simply this for efficiency DEA, or this printed production function. Most of these researchers they have used BC ratio index. These are also used to see the impact of these FPOs, to see the performance of FPOs. Financial performance particularly they have studied through the secondary data available at Ministry of Corporate Affairs and others, data taken from NABARD. Their financial ratio, liquidity, inventory, solvency, turnover, profitability, efficiency, like that aspects in financial performance. Particularly this Chavan, Murray, Kakati, they had studied. FPO number per lakh operational, this Manasvi and they, based on this FPO number per lakh operational holding in state, they have categorized the state into two, high and low, I think. And based on this discriminant function analysis, they have identified what are the characteristics of state where the more number of FPOs are there. Then there are certain economic efficiency there and sustainability aspect, particularly financial or economic sustainability, they have studied in performance. Optimum size or optimum design. NABARD, I also told that NABARD conclude that they were doing, but certain studies also are there where they're talking about what can be the optimum size, scope management, okay, market landscape for these FPOs. Most of the study, they focus on these factors affecting this membership or factors affecting participation of members in FPOs. And basically this logit model they are using. Some have used this multinomial logit also to see their level of participation. Okay, number of case studies are there, mostly qualitative and particularly focusing on one FPO. Suppose a Sayadri Farms organization is there, they are focusing on that particular all details of the Sayadri Farms organization they are giving. You will find many large number of these articles related to FPO belongs to this category. That is the case study. Some scoping study, what can be the potential commodity or potential sector for this FPO. That one study is there from Hyderabad. Then and qualitative also. First, I told that case study, most studies they are on this case study. Most of this literature related to FPO are on case studies. Second, it is again on this qualitative aspect, that what are the perception of these members, attitude, the strategies, trust, gender dimension, awareness level, knowledge, innovation pattern, service orientation, service rendered, like this. And we will find many large number of studies on these qualitative aspects also. That's why if you just want to see this broader areas where we can do study, is particularly we can focus on this impact aspect and performance aspect. Impact also, this through this treatment effect model, is the with and without or members and non-members model. Many researchers they have studied, but particularly these farmer producers companies, as most of you are from the economic discipline, I'll suggest that value chain aspect is also less studied area. We have good scope to go on that also, to go with that also. How this value chain aspect by this FPC and other organization, private organization, and even other organization, particularly if you are studying on state or region or district, then this can be the important aspect for this research, for your research. Other aspect can be this if you are belong to from extension or extension and advisory services, their effectiveness. Then indicate we can say determinants of farmers' participation. And one more important aspect again from institutional aspects of this farmer producers organization. And you can employ these principles of new institutional economics or whatever are available with you. But from institutional point of view, how they are contributing and what are the factors that determining the, or what are the factors that are affecting the performance, these things can be covered in research on FPOs. I think that's broad idea about the research I have given, how what kind of research we can do on FPOs. If you have any questions, queries, or any suggestions, I would like to invite you.
So far, there seems to be no questions except good afternoon. There,
Yes, madam.
what I'm saying is except good afternoon, I can't see in chat. There is one comment on good, very good session, like they enjoyed basically the session. Any person who has been working in this area, they can interact, share the experience. Some successful business models for FPOs, that he has already.
That I started with that only. There's some case
He
studies
has.
I highlighted. Yes. And also one person is asking about the limitations of FPO. I explained the SWOT model as SWOT analysis. That is weakness
Yes.
part, we can say limitations, and also this weakness and threat that we can see limitations.
Yeah, these things are already discussed. We will share the recording for this, and since they're asking for PPT, so recording may you can see that why FPOs are not working efficiently, which you can see some questions are there in the chat box and Q&A.
Why? Let's see that. Why you told ma'am why FPOs are not performing efficiently?
Why farmers are hesitant to connect with FPOs?
There are many reasons for that. Particularly this if we see the agriculture, whatever income we are farmers getting from agriculture, it does not attract this income tax. It has been exempted under certain sections of the Income Tax Act. But moment they form this FPO and they do certain kinds of value addition on that they are attracting this tax, and that is what this most of the farmers, they are not ready to accept that concept, that why we are put at same level, equal level of that of corporate. That is their concern. And I think in some coming days, some actions from government we can expect. At least now they have given for 5 years 100 crore turnover, there will not be any tax, but certain concession or more concession also we will likely to see in futures also. That is the major constraint why the farmers are hesitant to join these FPOs. And other aspect, if you see our social structure of village, as most of you are from social science and we are organizing certain programs, then for collecting or mobilizing 100 farmers for that program is very difficult. Then we are, by forming this FPO, these leaders or director, they have to manage these farmers. Suppose 300 farmers. In one village, that 300 farmers will belong to different caste, different religion, different political party. Nowadays, more focus is on political party also. Then bringing them together and working with them, it's difficult. That mobilization aspect also is a difficult part. But all again, that's if leader is efficient or some has political or other background, that can be done. But these are some limitations of these FPOs.
Mhm. So some questions in Q&A also.
While conducting factors affecting the formation of FPOs, what are variable we must
You have already.
well, factors affecting the formation of FPOs. We can see the factors affecting the joining of FPOs like this. So we have to basically, we need two categories of farmers. Those are members, those are not members. Then either by using logic model or multinomial logic model, if we have more than two categories, then multinomial logic model we can use. But I think this Sikant Rai, your question that factors affecting factors affecting for formation of FPOs. This quantitatively again it will be difficult again. There can be many factors. Okay. And right now I don't know any method for that. But if you are seeing from members' perspective, what are the factors affecting this membership and others, you can study. Dr. Ganga Devi, is there impact of FPO on minimize the post-harvest losses? Post-harvest losses, I think most of study they are in market, they are covering this price aspect only, price realized by members and non-members. Okay, this post-harvest losses, I have not come across on any study. Okay. Now, of course, if you are seeing the general impact of this FPO on minimizing post-harvest losses, yes, in these FPOs, they can help these to avoid these post-harvest losses by doing the value addition. When there is glut in the market, suppose tomato is the product in that area, and if there is glut in market, and then other farmers are selling that at throwaway prices, then that FPO can start this processing value addition on the tomato, and by doing certain this value addition, they can minimize these post-harvest losses. They can play important role in this post-harvest losses. Okay. Yeah, working capital again is the main concern, because members initially, most of these people, they hesitate to give that share capital also, and once they form this bank also, earlier they were hesitant to give loan these FPOs. That's working capital is the main concern, but nowadays I don't think there will be any problem, because bank, they have got guarantee from the government.
Chat.
Which are the states have more number of FPOs? As per the studies conducted by this Neti et al. From Neti et al. In 2019, Maharashtra state had more number of FPOs, particularly farmer producers company. The 7,000 figure from all India, about 16 or 20% of that total FPO were belonging to Maharashtra. That was the top state. I can recommend that Neti et al. Paper from I think Saudi Neti et al. If you search, then you'll get that paper. And detailed account of this number of FPO farmer producers companies, their year-wise increase, decrease, their capital. Okay, and even in state, district-wise, they analyze. They have. It's very good paper. I can recommend. If you want, I can share with madam. They can share with you also. Yes.
Then one says 50% of FPOs are in mobilization stage. Is it because of any constraint?
Yeah, constraint means we can, that is the formation stage, and initial 2-3 years more that technical guidance and procedural guidance. If they have to do value addition, what kind of value addition, what kind of machineries, what kind of this particular quantity of the products they will require, and what will do they after this value addition, how they can, in what form they can market, they create their own brand, or they will selling through different parties. Different aspects are there, and yes, that incubation training is lacking. I think earlier it was lacking. That phase, most of the FPO, they are stuck. They don't have proper business planning, and we can say that their era of operation had not started yet. But if they given certain training and other hand holding, certainly they can be part of that 30% which are doing good business. Yes.
Yeah. So they like the presentation in general. So
Thank you all.
Santosh, Dr. Santosh Rathod, are you there?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, carry on. Please propose vote of thanks.
Yes, ma'am. Dear friends, very good afternoon to all of you. So, on the behalf of all our participants, on behalf of organizing team and our main organizer, Dr. Rajini ma'am, so we all thank you very much for accepting organizer's invitation and delivering such a nice lecture. So, your lecture was so useful to all of us. So, if any difficulties in the queries in the future, our participants definitely contact you. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your class.
Thank you, Dr. Vinayak.
Thank you, Raghunathan sir. Thank you, madam.
Thank you, sir.
For being present and agreeing to deliver early also, like in case of need. So thank you very much for your kind cooperation.
Thank you. Madam.
Thanks. Yeah. So now we have another lecture, the last lecture of today, that is on discriminant analysis. Dr. Sushil Sarkar is there among us. Let me introduce to you Dr. Sushil Sarkar. He is senior scientist or principal
Yes, madam.
scientist?
Senior scientist.
Okay, principal scientist is due, I think. Huh?
Yes.
So he is a senior scientist working in agriculture statistics and working at our sister institute, Indian Agricultural Statistics Research Institute. He has vast experience of working with the statistical techniques, being a statistical researcher. So he is master of many techniques, but we wanted to have diversity of lecturers for you so that you have more interaction with more people. So we have we decided to have his expertise on this discriminant analysis, and he will be letting us his knowledge imparted on that subject, along with some examples and some case studies, whatever is feasible in the available time. So now I invite Dr. Sushil Sarkar for his lecture. Dr. Sir.
Thank you, madam, and good afternoon to all. It's my
Good afternoon.
proud privilege to have a chance to interact with the participants of the winter school. So today we will be discussing on discriminant analysis. This is a multivariate technique. My talk will be organized in following subheads: introduction, then linear discriminant analysis, quadratic discriminant analysis, mixture discriminant analysis, flexible discriminant analysis, and regularized discriminant analysis. Now, first of all, what is discriminant analysis? It is a statistical procedure that classifies unknown individual into a certain groups. So here, the groups are predefined, and if a certain individual comes with some attributes, in which group he should be allocated. Originally, this technique was developed by Sir Ronald de Fisher in 1936 to classify subjects into two clearly defined groups. Later, it was expanded for more than two groups. It helps in to find linear combination of original variables that provide the best separable function between the groups. The basic purpose is to estimate the relationship between a single categorical dependent variable and a set of quantitative independent variable. With the set of independent quantitative variable, we wish to make a function such that it clearly allocate the new coming object into a particular group. The usefulness of discriminant model is based upon its accuracy rate. If we get a function that accurately allocate coming new objects to its proper group, then it is of very much helpful. So suppose we are applying for a loan, and based on our records, our annual income, our transaction, existing loans, and many other information, the loan provider has two groups. Should he provide us loan or not? Depending upon the information which we provide in an application. So that is how in industry and in many stances the discriminant analysis is used. What they do, they work out a function and it looks like a regression equation where score is equal to a certain linear combination. When we say linear, it means if we regress that equation with certain parameter, that parameter should vanish. So if we regress this score equation with any of the regression parameters such as a, b1 or b2, it will vanish from that equation. So we can say this equation is linear when if we take derivative with respect to that parameter and that parameter doesn't vanish from that equation, it becomes non-linear. So here we are more concerned to linear one. Now these scores work as separator, and whatever scores are generated, they are scaled. So if it comes one side of 0, this is one group, and if it is in another side of 0, that will come in second group. So this is how discriminant function works through its score. Conceptually, we can think the discriminant function or equation as defining the boundary between two groups. Discriminant scores are standardized. So if the score falls on one side, that is one group, and if falls on another side, it is another group. Now, how many number of functions can be there? So when we have two groups, one function is enough. If we have three groups, we need two functions. So one function for separating group 1 from group 2 and group 3 combined, and second function for separating group 2 from group 3. So number of group depends on number of function depends on number of group minus 1. The number of possible discriminant function in an analysis is limited to smaller the number of independent variables or one less than the number of groups defined by the dependent variable. So like other analysis like MANOVA, it has certain assumptions that the data should be normally distributed. Since here there is more than one independent variable, it should follow multivariate normal distribution, and the data should be homoscedastic. Homogeneity of variance should be maintained there, and there are certain tests to test that from data set it is homogeneous or not. There are certain limitations. If multivariate normality assumptions are not met, there is a problem, and not meeting the assumption of homoscedasticity of variance, then also there is problem. And for that, we will move from linear to quadratic and quadratic to mixture discriminant analysis if the assumptions are not met. Certain examples where we can use this is predicting success or failure of a new product depending upon the characteristics of that product, accepting or rejecting admission of an application, predicting credit risk category of a person. I told you, if you are applying for a loan, depending upon your existing CIBIL score, your existing number of loans, annual income, they decide that you will be in paying capacity or you will be not in paying capacity. If you are in paying capacity, they will give you loan. Otherwise, they will not give you loan. Classify patients into different categories. They are severe, more severe, like that. Now, how do statistically we proceed for discriminant analysis? Let there is F1 and F2 two functions are there. Their PDFs are there with random variable X, and there are two populations, pi1 and pi2. An object with associated measurements of certain attribute will either associated to pi1 or pi2 population. Let omega is a sample space, that is the collection of all possible observations of X. So none of the observation should be out of the population, and that makes our omega sample space. Let R1 be the set of X variable, X values for which we classify object as pi1, and R2 is omega minus R1 set. Remaining values we classify into population pi2. Since the very objective is to assign our subject into one of the two populations. The sets R1 and R2 are mutually exclusive and exhaustive. Let P1 be the prior probability of pi1 and P2 be the prior probability of pi2. So P1 plus P2 will equal to 1. Then let P1 be the prior probability of pi1 and P2 be the prior probability of pi2, where P1 plus P2 is equal to 1. There will be overall probabilities of correctly or incorrectly classifying the objects into the different populations. Probability of observation correctly classifying into pi1 is equal to probability of observation comes from pi1 and it is correctly classified as pi1. That is P1 given 1 into probability of population 1. And likewise, probability of observation misclassified in pi1, probability of observation correctly classified in pi2, and probability of observation misclassified in pi2. Then there will be cost calculation of misclassification. So there will be zero cost if they are classified correctly, but if they are incorrectly classified, so C1 given 2, when observation from population 2 is incorrectly classified in population 1, and C2 given 1, when observations are incorrectly classifies into population 2 when it originally belongs to population 1. Then as the expected cost of misclassification can be carried out, and that is just multiply their probabilities and sum them. So this will be the expected cost of misclassification. Now, in which region our new object should belong? So if the density of density ratio, density ratio is greater than cost ratio into prior probability ratio, then it will be classified in one group. And if this density ratio is less than equal to cost ratio into prior probability ratio, they will classify it into second group. Then different types of discriminant functions are there. First one is the linear discriminant analysis. This algorithm starts by finding direction that maximize the separation between the classes, then use this direction to predict the class of individuals. These directions are called linear discriminant and are linear combination of predictor variables. Linear discriminant analysis assumes that predictors are normally distributed and the different classes have class-specific means and equal variance covariance, that is homoscedasticity. Before performing linear discriminant analysis, we should inspect univariate statistics that the independent variables are normally distributed or not. If not, then we can go for some transformation. We should look for the outliers and we need to remove that. Then we have another discriminant analysis, that is quadratic discriminant analysis. It is a little bit more flexible than LDA. If the assumption of homoscedasticity of variance is not met, we can go for quadratic discriminant analysis. So it has some flexibility over LDA. If the assumption of homoscedasticity is not met, we can go for quadratic discriminant analysis. Then comes mixture discriminant analysis. Mixture discriminant analysis is mixture of linear plus non-linear model. So if my y is equal to a plus bx1, then it can be plus c e to the power minus cx. So here it will become non-linear, and since there is a certain portion is linear and a certain portion is non-linear, it is termed as mixture discriminant analysis. Then one other term has come, flexible discriminant analysis. Flexible discriminant analysis is the extension of linear discriminant analysis that uses non-linear combination of predictors such as spline. FDA is useful to model multivariate non-normally and non-linear relationship. And the last one is the regularized discriminant analysis. That is a procedure in between the linear discriminant analysis and quadratic discriminant analysis. We will see each one of these practically here. So let me start. I'm sharing two files to you. Madam, can I share my files in chat box? So let us see our data set. It is inbuilt data set in share option is not coming in chat box. Otherwise, I would have shared my both data file and program file to you. You can run it. Anyway, so I have taken one data set from the R data set, and that is Aries. So let's see What's about data? So this is my data set. And so there is sepal length, sepal width, petal length, petal width, and species. So there are 3 species: Setosa, versicolor, and virginica. And we can see the structure of our data set. It is saying there is 150 observations, 5 variables, 4 are numeric, and one is factor variable with 3 levels. That is Setosa, versicolor, and virginica. We will use library psych and see the scatter plot of our data, how it looks like. So we have given red color to Setosa, we have given green color to versicolor, and we have given blue color to virginica. We can very well see here in this graph. Now, this data set is having 150 observations and there is 5 variables. So we will partition this data into 2 parts. One is training part for my discriminant function, and another is testing part for the discriminant analysis or discriminant function. So let us set a seed value that we can set any value here, and then this whole data is divided into 2 parts. Now it is saying there is sample, this data is divided into 2 samples, and the sampling design is simple random sampling with replacement. And probability given is 0.6 and 0.4. So the sum of these should be 1. We can write here 0.7, 0.3, 0.8, 0.2, 0.9, 0.1. Whatever proportion we wish to have, we can give here, but the sum should be 1. Now, here I have given 60% data to training set and 40% data to my testing set. So we have generated 2 sets of data. One is training set, another is testing set. Now, what about the assumption of normality and homoscedasticity? Any question? Please say 8, 3, 6, 8, 6.
Dr. Sushil?
Yes, sir.
Please just 1 second. Hello,
Yes, sir.
dear participants. Lot of noise is coming. Please don't disturb our faculty. Let him explain, and you can note down your questions, and you can ask afterwards. You mute yourself, please. Okay, Dr. Sushil, please go ahead.
Hi, babies. I think I am still important for you. Bye. Sorry.
Hello. Please unmute yourself. Mute yourself. Otherwise, centrally will mute to all. Nobody will be able to talk. Dr. Sarkar, go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, please.
Yes. So here we have created one training set data, another is testing set data. Training set data is having 60% of observation from erased data, and testing set data is having 40%. This we can change. We can write here 0.8, 0.2 like this, but the sum of this should be 1. Now we will test the assumptions. So for this, we need library haplots, and the test is box mtest. Since I have already installed this library, so now the boxes mtest of homogeneity of covariance matrix, and the null hypothesis has been that my data is homoscedastic. Since the p-value is very less, so null hypothesis is rejected, and it is showing that data is heteroscedastic. When data is heteroscedastic, we should not go for linear discriminant analysis. We may go for the quadratic or non-linear discriminant functions. So this is how boxes mtest tells us that our data is having homoscedasticity or heteroscedasticity. Now let's go for our first analysis. Since the number of observations are large, 150, so we can go for linear discriminant analysis. When the n is sufficiently large, average distribution tends to normal distribution, so no problem. But if the data set has few of the observations, then we cannot go for the linear discriminant analysis. We will use library mass here, and we will fit linear discriminant LDA. Now the dependent variable is species, and for writing all other variable, we have given here dot. And data set is the training data set. So from training data set, we are trying to have a linear discriminant function. So let us run this. So this is the outcome. Linear discriminant analysis, species is dependent on all other variables, numerical variables from data set training. Now the proportion, prior proportion of group. Setosa is having 28.88% of from in data set 36.66% is versicolor and 34.4% is Virginica. Now this is the group means. So for Setosa, the mean of sepal length is 5.06, and for sepal width this is the mean, for petal length this is the mean, for petal width this is the mean. So this is the mean values with respect to each group, that is Setosa, versicolor and Virginica, with respect to all independent variables. Now this is the linear discriminant coefficient. So from here, how can we write? We can write 1.2355157 into sepal length plus 1.082535 into sepal width minus 2.399527 into petal length minus 2.323673 into petal width, and this will be our linear discriminant function 1. And if we multiply this coefficient with these variables, minus 0.37 into sepal length plus 2.35 into sepal width minus 0.38 into petal length 2.14 into petal width. So this is the linear discriminant function 2. Now the proportion of trace means LD, my linear discriminant function one is 98.89% explaining the variation, and LD2 is explaining 0.011 means 1.11% of variation. Now, what attributes can we see from this linear discriminant analysis function? So here we write attributes and in bracket we write linear. Linear is the name of the function which we estimated for linear discriminant analysis. So if we run this attribute linear, it gives you certain values. That is the prior. Prior means what was the percentage of observation from each group. So here we can see so if we run linear and dollar prior, so these all variables attributes which has come here, if we write linear dollar any of this name, this will give you certain values. So linear dollar prior, it tells that in my original data set, by the way, in training data set, how many observations were there? In training data set, there is 90 observations. You can see here. And in testing data set, there is 60 observations. Out of these 90 observations, 28.88% were setosa, 36.67% are versicolor, and 34.4% are virginica. Okay. Then it comes counts. Let us see what counts tell us. It is showing that 26 are setosa, 33 are versicolor, and 31 are virginica out of this 90. Then next one is the means. So this is giving us the chart of mean values with respect to each group and with respect to each independent variable. Now, scaling. So this is giving same as the coefficients of linear discriminant function, right? Now level. So it gives us that independent variable, there are 3 levels: setosa, versicolor, and virginica. So these are all attributes which we can see in this LDA. We have saved it in name of linear. Now this is singular variance decomposition. Singular vector decomposition, sorry, singular vector decomposition. Then n, it is coming total number, that is 90. Terms gives us the species equal to sepal length. So that regression equation which we applied, species is equal to sepal length plus sepal width plus petal length plus petal width. And linear X levels. So this is giving the name of variables which we used for the as a independent variables. Here we have given all, so it is writing name list. So of whatever will be the in list, it is there. Now let us see how accurate is our model. So we here have given the function predict. From this function, this discriminant function, and use the training data, and let us see what is this. So this is the scores. This is the probability. This is the probability of first observation, and that is 1 in Setosa, while the probability for this particular object in versicolor is 10 to the power minus 19, and for Virginica is 10 to the power minus 37. So here we can see there is probabilities are given using this predict function. Now this same we can visualize with the help of histogram. If we see, and while we are writing LDA, hist means linear discriminant analysis histogram, and in data we are giving PX. What is PX? So P $X is, let's run and see what is this. So this is the scores. This is scores using this LDA function for coefficients taking from first one. And if we run for second one, this is this. So here, when we use LDA1, we see that there is clear-cut demarcation of this group, Setosa, from these two groups, that is versicolor and Virginica. While there is a distinction between versicolor and Virginica, but there is some overlap. Now, if the score, this is to see here, if his score is more than 5, here we can say it will definitely go to Setosa group. If score is here, it will be -3 to 0, this will go to versicolor, and score is -3 and lower, it will go to Virginica. So this is using LDA1. Now let's run with LDA2. So if we use LDA2 and run it, now this is the graph. Now using LDA2, we cannot clearly say which group is different from which. all are overlapping with each other. Now we will see its biplot, and that will give us more clear picture. So we can see on x-axis there is LDA1, on y-axis this is LDA2, and LDA1 is explaining 98.89% of variability, and LDA2 is explaining 1.11% of variability. Now here we can match sepal length 1.23. So this is x-axis for LDA1, and we see sepal length, it is in this direction, positive 2 for LD1. This is sepal length. Then sepal width is also positive 1.08. You see sepal width is here right from the 0 of LDA1. Now petal length and petal width is negative. You see it is on left hand side of 0 of the LD1. So likewise, if we run for LD2, here it is clear cut demarcation. If the score is more than 5, it will go to setosa. If score is C, from this means near about it is 1, 2, -3, it is versicolor, and after -3 to this is -10, it will be versinica. So depending upon the score, we can say that in which group, if a new object comes and if its score is 7 or 5 or 8, we can definitely say it will go to setosa group. If its score is this 1 to -3, we can say it will go to versicolor, and if its score is less than -3, we can say it will go to versinica. Now let's see this in partition matrix. So here, those which are in red, they are misclassified. This is setosa, this is versicolor, and this is versinica. Now if we see here, with respect to petal length and petal width, there is less number of red colors. So it means this independent variable is contributing more significantly. Now let's see confusion matrix for this. So here we are using predict, and we have estimated this LDA in linear. So we will use here linear, and data set we are using, data set we are using is training. Now we have predicted using our discriminant function in P1, and actual we have in training data set as species. Now we will tabulate both and see that what about confusion matrix. So here, this is the confusion matrix. Is it visible? Anyone, is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So here, this is actual values. And in this direction, it is predicted values. For Satosha, there were 26 values and there is no misclassification. In versicolor, there were 33 values, 32 are correctly classified, one is not correctly classified. And in Virginica, there was 31 objects, out of that 30 is correctly classified and one is misclassified. If we want to calculate accuracy, so what we do, we add these correct ones, 26 plus 32 plus 30 divided by all these values. So we have written sum diagonal of type 2 and sum of type 2. So this is just a minute. Yes, 93.33% is the accuracy of this model when we used for training data set itself. Now we have testing data set. So is this model performing correctly for testing data set also? So here we have taken testing data set. Yes. So in training data set, the accuracy is 97.7%. See, this is my training data set and this one is testing data set. And for testing data set, it is 98.33%. Just say hi to me so I can share my data files on WhatsApp group. I have given my number. Anyone please share? This is my WhatsApp number. Please say hi in my inbox so I can share. Then we have 4 more methods to go for: quadratic, mixture, flexible, and regular. Eight 8368096 is my WhatsApp number. Or Santosh, संतोष राठौर. संतोष राठौर. संतोष राठौर.
सर ये डेटा फाइल शेयर करनी थी, यहाँ तो चैट बॉक्स में डेटा फाइल शेयर करने का ऑप्शन नहीं आ रहा है, कैसे भेजूं? अच्छा, उनको फोन कर रहा था, उनका फोन बिजी आ रहा था.
अच्छा मैं बता, मेरे को भेज दो. सरकार सर क्लास और डॉक्टर सरकार क्लास इज ओवर. हाँ, रजनी मैडम इज देयर.
Yes.
डॉक्टर रजनी.
हाँ जी. He is
सरकार want to say something.
Sir, he is muted.
अच्छा, he wanted to share some data. He is unable to share through chat box.
Can you come again? I was not here for a moment. I went to director's office.
Okay.
क्या?
डॉक्टर सरकार